Hello, this is Emric for Common Poker. Today's video doesn't have any theme. It's just for practice and reasoning, as well as to make your own opinion. We're here in a pot with already UTG player and two other callers, and the goal is to rebet for pre-flop. It's necessary to rebet on pre-flop because we have the equity for our hand, and the more there are players, the less equity we have for the hand. The goal is to isolate players, and to isolate a player must pay the price. We're being rebet by Rene with 70 blinds. So the game is to all-in to hope to get paid by a smaller hand or equal hand. The results is pretty good. We have maximized our bet. It's a shame about the queen, but that's the game. Here, with a knight and 7, I will most likely open it in small blind, but everybody has to fold towards me. If 2-29 opens, the problem is that I do not dominate a knight. He can do knight-knight, knight-10, knight-knight, knight-ace. So if a knight falls post-flop, first I'll change position, which will be very challenging to deal with, and I won't be dominating the knight. As for the 7, there are many pairs that dominate me, so I don't have the... I better not play that game. Here, 6 and 10, I think it's the same solution. I think I will open. The best thing to do is to fold. Okay, so 2-29 has a rebet on pre-flop. He bets 10 in a 55 pot. I find this a little weak. He won't accomplish much by doing that. Robert folds. Not sure what kind of a hand he can have. Let's say he's got a 10 or queen. He's got everything to pay, which will make 2-29 in the fog when the turn will come. So there's no reason to bet so little. Here, 6 and 7 is a good hand to play. I mean an OTB, small blind, or to defend on 3-bet on big blind. But here, under the gun, it's not a good idea. Because if you open this hand, you will be paid by 8, 9, 9, 10, 7, 8 with players that are all over yours, so there's no reason to do it. Here we are actually in the first hand with an ace and king in big blind. Okay, so we're gonna play this hand, and if someone rebets, like Betty Mutzi, we will rebet as well. We want to maximize our equity before the flop, as it is only before the flop that our equity is at the max. So the goal is to rebet at between 60 and 80. Let's bet 70. Badimatsi calls. On this flop, there are 3 possible things. We can bet, we can check fold or check raise, or check call. I think the best is the c-bet. Firstly, because this board must touch our range more than his, Secondly, we can realize our equity with king, ace, or 10. If you check call in this position, it will be very challenging. When you see bet, you make people fold hands, and like 2 10s, 2 9s, 2 6s, which beat us, but we can always raise our equity in the future. So the C bet was the best play. This is a good hand. We want to play it, and it's got a big potential. Unfortunately, we are out of position, and the best play will be the 3 bet without following by calling. So we avoid the squeeze by René. I think it's the best play. Here, no one can have the position over us, and since we are OTB, I think it will be great to rebet. The goal is to steal the blinds. That's the goal of poker, is to steal as many as you can. That way you can allow yourself to have a range of hands. Well, when you do all in, you can't pay with a queen and 5. Try not to be result oriented all the time and see a bigger picture, long-term experience in game. Ace 5 off could open, but it's a little bit light at the cutoff. Seeing that the players around the table are often calling, we're gonna end up with a dominant aces, and it's though it makes sense on the OTB, I think we can fold this hand in the cutoff. Here we have 10 knight in big blind, so it depends on who's opening. For example, if René opens, he's got a lot of queen knight, king knight, ace knight. So I think all this way and cutoff are not good. If 2do29 and Robert open, will dominate a lot of knights and 10s, so I find it interesting to defend it and pay. Rebet was a bad idea, but call was great. Here we have a great board to rebet the flop. If the initial bidder has a hand with a 7-8, 8-9, or 4-5 with a club, he'll have a hard time to continue the game. He'll be lost. He won't know where he is. Let's say that turn, if a club falls, he won't know if he has the right one. If he doesn't have it, he might think that we have the flush. There's a few combinations that will allow him to play against us. 7 and flush flopped flush. So it's interesting to pressure him and to make him understand that it's not in his favor to be out of position, and it forces him to fold his hand at the flop, meaning all the hands I mentioned before, the 7-8, 8-9, 4-5, all these hands. Seven nine is a very good hand to open at the button. If Robert opens, it could be an interest 3-bet, but the fold is correct as well. Remember, when you click on bet, there's always 3 reasons why you click. The first is the value, which means that you want to get paid by a range of hands that you dominate. When you bet, you can also be bluffing to make a range of dominant hands fold. For example, you have a 3 and 4, you open the button, the big blind call, the board is ace king 2, the person checks, you cannot win, you have the worst hand. If you bet and the person folds, you just won a better hand. So that's the interest of bluffing. The third reason to bet is to get back the dead money. Let's take the same example. We have 3 and 4, we open the button, blindfold, big blind call, and our board is queen, 7 and 4, and you still have 3 and 4. If you see bet here, in the end, another person can call with a queen or 7, so when you bet, you don't do anything better and you don't really have any value. And the person might not be calling aside. So you only make them fold their equity if they have 8 and 9 or ace and knight. If you don't bet, you leave him a chance to get to his knight, ace, 8, 9, 10. If you bet, you stop his equity for the turn. We just missed a good game with an ace and 4. It was check, 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 check. And then in the end, to do 29, bet, but he didn't have any 6 or 9. The 6 he could check at river. He won't think value. At 9, he would bet it at turn. He could use the 9 for the value of the 2 rows because a lot of things were going on the board. And with the 10, it's the same thing as with the 9, but even more. So since he doesn't have any 6, 10, or 9, everything else will beat him. So it's very interesting to dare pay with such a hand. So good call. Here it's knight and 6 suited, so it's a very good hand if nobody opens. If Robert opens, it's a fold, I think. Because I think it's complicated to be in this situation. We could have rebet and make him fold a better hand, but it's better to favor other hands and more possibilities to do this type of things. So the best play was to fold. So here we are in a 3-way pot. Let's see what happens. René opens, fold. If you do that, you'll never make money. Yeah, you cannot make money by doing that. And to do 29 takes a lot of time. And he leaves, okay. So I think the video will stop here. The goal is only to explain what is the good process to bet, and if you like the video, we'll do more. Thank you, and see you later. This is Emmerich for Come On Poker.